All right. So I got a couple of subscribers to my channel after making this last video about the Circle of Fifths and John Coltrane and all that business. So I wanted to expand on it. The last one I did, I was in the key of E flat, and I was using the descending Circle of Fifths. You know, starting from E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, etc. And even though the circle was descending, the fifths were descending. You have the equivalent set of notes, which is ascending in fourths. And you can shrink all that to be closer together so that you get somewhat of like a scale type formation. You know, for example, sorry, wait. And you get this. You know, it's you're taking the same collection of notes and you're maintaining somewhat the trajectory of the circle of fifths, the descending circle of fifths. It's somewhat circuitous. You're not explicitly playing always E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B. You certainly can. You can reverse that, or you can change the order. So that's somewhat circuitous, but it's even more circuitous in the sense that I'm going E flat to D flat. So I'm skipping over a fifth, but then I'm coming back to it. And then I'm skipping over another fifth and coming back to it, skipping over, coming back to it. And so you're kind of doing this jumping back thing, but the trajectory is generally that you're going down in the circle of fifths. It's kind of like this like little spiral thing. That still maintains the character of playing through the circle. Okay, so that's what's important, is it maintains the character. It's embedded sort of deep within the philosophical guidelines that you're using. Philosophical is maybe not the right word, but the sort of organizational guidelines that you're using to be able to like play this kind of music. And one step further, you can make those even more circuitous, still maintaining the general trajectory, and make it kind of a scale type formation. Okay, if you see this, that's a pentatonic scale. You know, those first couple notes, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, are an A flat minor pentatonic scale. And then you keep going through the scale. B, E, A, D, G, you get an E minor pentatonic. A flat and E minor. So like you can even take that A flat minor pentatonic and do more than one octave. Do like a full guitar pattern, you know. And then switch to your E minor pentatonic. So now you have over an E flat minor chord. You know what I mean? So what you're doing is it's more circuitous. You're staying in one part of the circle for longer, that A flat minor part. And the E minor part was kind of the next part. So you have the first 5 notes of the circle, second 5 notes of the circle. You're using 10 notes out of the chromatic scale. Let's even add the final 2. So you know, let's see. Then you get an F and a C. And those would be your final notes, which if you combine that, you know, let's make a pentatonic scale out of that. You know, that would be your, well, let's keep going. So, you know, connected to the E minor, you now have a C minor. So you got A flat minor, A flat minor, E minor, C minor. See that? A flat minor, E minor, C minor. Back to A flat, E minor, C minor. Let's see. All over. Let's see how that works. You can add in your E flat minor pentatonic in there as well, which comes from the circle. That's the thing about pentatonic scales, is that they come from the circle of fifths. And that's why McCoy used them so much and Train used them so much. It's like kind of, but we forget that. When we get into that pentatonic vibe and we're playing it, we forget that it works because these are all just 5-note segments of the circle of stacked circle of fifths. You know, so like it looks like this, for example, you know, E flat minor scale, or I mean E flat minor pentatonic is just stacked fourths. You know, I could show it in fifths on a piano, but on guitar you can't, so I just invert the interval to make it the fourths. So there's a bunch of infinite combinations like that. Another cool thing you can do with pentatonic scales, which they do on a Love Supreme, you know, you get this, right? A Love Supreme, a Love Supreme. That's just fragments of pentatonic scales moving in perfect fourth intervals or fifth intervals. So quite literally, you're going as at the most gradual rate through the circle of fifths that you could possibly do. So if I do E minor pentatonic, E flat minor pentatonic, and I migrate to A flat minor pentatonic, I've just added one new note in the circle. I've gone from, or let me do it right here. Well, which one would it be? What would it be? Oh no. Oh, it's this one. E flat minor pentatonic. And then I would add 1/4 on top, and you get A flat minor pentatonic. Go from down here. So E flat minor pentatonic. And if I migrate one click over with by fourths, which is the circle of fifths, because fifths and fourths are inversions of each other, you get A flat minor pentatonic. One more, just one new note. And if I migrate another, you get D flat minor pentatonic. One new note. So that's a cool thing to do if you want to make if you want to migrate through the circle of fifths and just make it sound super gradual, like you're adding one new note each time, just kind of gradually going from light to dark, as gradual as possible. You know, E flat minor, A flat, D flat, B, E, A, and then go back to your E flat. It's really powerful, you know. Yeah. See what I mean? Okay. Hopefully you can hear that kind of going gradually light to dark. Now, I wanted to get into the flip side, the reverse, which is the ascending circle of fifths. Now you've noticed that I've been playing on a minor chord this whole time, and the descending circle works really well over a minor chord. By the way, when you do this, you don't actually have to be playing it over a chord at all. You know, Train and McCoy, a lot of times they were just playing over a drone, like one pedal. Like it doesn't even matter whether the chord was minor or major. And that's, you know, we'll get into that later. That's more of a philosophical type thing. You know, like I mentioned last time, this kind of anti-colonial breaking down of the European norms of major and minor, of third-based music, etc. Maybe I'll make a video talking about that specifically sometime. But like right now we're doing it over a chord just to kind of help orient your understanding of it. But if you do the reverse circle of fifths, so the ascending circle, you go you go dark to light, you go brighter, brighter, brighter. And it sounds that way. And so over a minor chord, it doesn't always work that well, actually. Because you end up getting the major third really quickly over a minor chord. Like, anyways, but it's a whole, like, because minor chords are kind of inherently dark. So it makes sense for us to go darker and darker. Whereas, like, to go brighter over a minor chord seems strange in a way. It makes a lot of sense over a major chord, though. So over a major chord, you get root, fifth, 9, 6, and then you get what comes next? The third, major 7, and then you'll get the sharp 11, and then you'll get the flat 9, and then you'll get the flat 6, and then the flat 3rd, and the flat 7. Anyways, it makes sense because you're kind of gradually clicking from what we're familiar with to what we're not familiar with. We're familiar with the thirds on a major chord. We're familiar with the 6 and with the sharp 11. That all sounds pretty normal. And then you get into these, like, you know, flat 2 which is strange, but it makes sense because it's closely related to the sharp 11. And then you get into the flat 6 and you're like, ooh, okay, that's a dark, you know. And then you get into the flat 3, you're like, oh, wow, that's like dark, really dark. It's a strange thing. I kind of like to associate the ascending circle with major and the descending circle with minor. But again, you don't have to, I'm still presenting this in like a European major or minor context, but you actually don't have to do that at all. We'll talk about that some other time. If you're trying to play free, it can be really great to use this stuff and not even think about chords and just be moving through the circle. Light and dark. Doesn't matter if it's major or minor, right or wrong. It just is, you know. So anyways, so the ascending circle, you'll see it kind of is similar, but reversed on the guitar. So like, you know, E flat, the ascending circle, E flat, oh God, B flat, G, what is that? Shoot, dude, C, E, I'm sorry, G, I mean, you know, so you get those, but you can, if you start up here, you can condense that down to a descending circle of fourths. All right? And then you can decompress that even more. So we have E flat, B flat, F, C, G, D. It's the first 6 notes of the circle. A stack of fourths, three fourths, and a stack of 3/4. E flat, B flat, and F, C, G, and D. Now check this out. Take that C, G, and D, put it up here. See, C, G, D. Now I got this. Now I got 3 notes separated by fourths, moving down to 3 notes separated by fourths, and in between those 2 structures is a minor third. You can see it on the guitar really clearly. I'm just skipping over 2 frets. You do it here too. All right, now the next segment of the cycle would be starting from this D here, and you'd get A, E, B, A, E, B. So you got that, and then you would get G flat, D flat, A flat. See how low this is? Let's put this up here. G flat, D flat, A flat. G flat, D flat, A flat. Same situation. G flat, D flat, I'm sorry. A, E, B, G flat, D flat, A flat. We got 2/4 stacked on top of each other, separated by minor thirds. So you get this. Remember, we started from E flat, B flat, F, C, G, D. First 6 notes of the circle. 2 stacked fourths, separated by minor third, and then you get A, E, B, which is the next. By the way, that's separated by minor third as well. And then this one. So you can see that? 2/4, minor third away, 2/4, minor third away, 2/4, minor third away, 2/4. So you can start to see how we're starting to be able to organize the cycle again, so that it makes sense. Remember, when we were doing the descending circle, it was the same thing. 2/4 go up a minor third, 2/4 go up a minor third, 2/4 go up. It's the same thing, just in reverse. Okay, now line-wise, right? See, I'm starting to... See that? It's starting to become melodic now. Take those 2 stacked fourths from the first stack, from the second stack, from the first stack, from the second stack. 2 notes from the first, 2 from the second. Switch it around. Instead of going descending, 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 ascending, ascending. What about descending, ascending? Descending, ascending. 2 notes from each stack. Remember, this is the first 6 notes of the circle of the ascending circle of fifths. Even though I'm descending melodically, that's the thing. Don't forget to add rhythm. That's the biggest part of jazz right there. Check this out. 1 note per stack. 1 note for the first stack. 1 note from the second stack. 1 note from the second stack. 1 note from the first stack, second stack, first stack, second stack. Check that out. That's like 2 pentatonic scales combined. Like you got, that's a pentatonic scale, and then you get this new note, which kind of connects you to another pentatonic scale. Like I was showing you before, you're kind of... now check it out. If I put it here... See what I mean? So that's kind of what's going on. Now remember, that goes dark to light. You know, you'd use that over a major chord if you want. You can use it over a minor chord, whatever you want. But just to make it make sense for you. That's another one I forgot to tell you. Remember, if you watched the last video, you probably didn't. Like 5 people liked this video. But if you watch the last one, you'll see that I, when you do the descending circle of fifths, you get this pattern, which is like 4th down a whole step. You get that business. If you just reverse that and go up, you're doing the ascending circle of fifths. Remember, E flat, B flat, F, C, G, D, etc. Check that out. From out of that, A flat pentatonic, D flat minor pentatonic. You know, this is like an A flat major pentatonic, C major pentatonic. I don't know what it is anymore, but you know, you don't even have to know what it is that you're playing at this point. It starts to get, you know, that's how you know you're onto something pretty deep. Is it starts to get like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I don't even know what's happening. Meaning, it doesn't mean I don't have a purpose, but it means to me, it feels like the usual norms and place markers that we have, you know, for playing more sort of European thirds-based music breaks down. That structure and that our sense of understanding sort of breaks down. I don't know if you've ever traveled to another country, you know, that's not your home country, and maybe the culture is very different from yours, and you stay there long enough and you start to just be like, what is real anymore? Like, you know, there's cultural practices and food and language that I don't know anything about, and I'm just swimming in a sea of, you know, stuff that is so different, and my usual way of understanding the world is breaking down, you know? So that's a great thing. I think that's awesome. You know, so check that out. That was the ascending circle, you know. You can use it over major, you can use it over minor, you can use it over nothing.